Good morning, boys. Last day we have started chapter number 8. Name of the chapter was Fiscal Policy. Today we will continue that. At that time, yesterday, in my last class, I told you that government revenue, public revenue can be divided into two parts: tax revenue, non-tax revenue. And on that day, we have discussed about non-tax revenue. Today, I am going to discuss the tax revenue of the government. First of all, what is a tax? The definition of tax is a compulsory payment made to the government without expecting any direct return. I repeat, what is a tax? Tax is a compulsory payment to the government without expecting any direct return. So, if the government imposes any kind of tax, it is compulsory. If you are within the framework of that tax, you have to pay. And for giving the tax, you just can't expect any direct return from the government. So, this is the meaning of tax. This tax can be divided broadly into two categories: direct tax, indirect tax. Why two difference? What is the meaning of direct tax and what is the meaning of indirect tax? For understanding of direct and indirect tax, two words we have to know. One is impact and another is incidence. What do you mean by impact of taxation? Impact of taxation implies the legal responsibility to pay tax. For example, income tax is imposed on my income. What does it mean? It means that legal responsibility is on me. I am the impact. The impact is on me. I have the legal responsibility because it's my income. On my income, the tax has been imposed. So, by impact, we implies legal responsibility to pay the tax. Then, what is the meaning of incidence of taxation? By incidence, we mean the burden of tax. By incidence, we mean the burden. For example, in case of sales tax, what happened is the tax is imposed on the seller. So, the impact is on the seller. Seller has the legal responsibility to pay the sales tax. But actually, in practice, the seller does not pay the money from his own pocket. What the seller does? A seller simply raises the price of the product. So, the cost of that taxation, the extra amount of cost of taxation, he collects from the customers. So, actually, who is paying the tax? It's the customers, the consumers. So, the incidence or burden is on the customers basically. So, that is why in case of sales tax, the impact is on the seller, but the incidence is on the customers. But in case of income tax, this impact and incidence are on same individual. Income tax is imposed on my income, I am the impact, and it is also actually paid from my income, deducted from my income. So, incidence is also on me. So, impact and incidence are on same individual, and that makes a difference between direct and indirect tax. In case of direct tax, impact and incidence are on the same individual like income tax. Income tax, the examples of direct tax are these: income tax, corporation tax, wealth tax, gift tax. In all those cases, impact and incidence are on the same individual. There is no difference. On the other hand, in case of indirect tax, impact and incidence are on different individuals. Examples: GST, excise duty, customs duty, service tax, entertainment tax. These are all indirect tax. In these cases, the impact and incidence are on different individual like sales tax. Understood? So that's why these two differences are there. This is the difference. Direct tax implies impact incidence on the same individual. Indirect tax implies impact and incidence are on different individuals. Next comes, what are the advantages and disadvantages of these two types of taxes? First, let us discuss direct tax. The first advantages, here we have done advantages. The first advantage here is direct tax follows ability to pay. In case of direct tax, you just consider income tax. Higher is your income, higher is the amount of tax you have to pay. So higher is your ability, higher tax you will pay. So it follows ability to pay principle. Second one, advantage is it reduces inequality of income distribution. If direct tax is imposed, more and more income tax is imposed, then the rich will pay higher tax than the poor. So this reduces the inequality in income distribution. The rich people are paying more tax. So the money they have at hand will now reduce. So this reduces the inequality in the income distribution in the society. The third one, it is certain. That is, you know much before the payment that this much amount of tax you have to pay and when you have to pay and where you have to pay. The amount, the time and the place, everything you know. That's why it is certain. At the beginning of the year, you know very well that if this is my income, then at the end of the financial year, I have to pay this amount of tax at this time and at this place. So that's why this is certain. The last one is advantage is elastic. It is very much elastic. What is the meaning of elastic? Elastic implies it can be changed at any time easily. If any emergency comes, the government can easily reduce or change the income tax. So that's why it is elastic in nature. So these are the advantages of direct tax. What are the disadvantages? The first one is it is very unpopular. People don't like income tax. Why? Because it is visible. We can see easily that from my income this amount I am paying to the government. So obviously it reduces the popularity of the government. That's why direct tax is very much unpopular. No one loves direct tax because it is quite visible. That's why. Next disadvantage is evasion. What is the meaning of evasion? Avoid. It is very common in our society that people who are liable to pay huge amount of tax, they make false returns so that the tax payment can be smaller than what it should be. This avoidance is called evasion, tax evasion. The last one is inconvenient. If at the end of the year you have to pay a huge sum of money as tax, it may be inconvenient. In smaller amount, if you pay throughout the year, just like the indirect tax, it is easier. But at the end of the year, you have to pay huge money. At that particular point of time, you may have any financial problem. So that's why it is very inconvenient also to pay direct tax. So these are the disadvantages. Advantages, disadvantages. Done. The next we are coming to indirect tax. Advantage, disadvantage. What are the advantages? First of disadvantage of indirect tax is a broad base. This is very important, students. This is very important. Broad base. Remember, by imposing an indirect tax like GST or sales tax, government can connect, government can touch almost entire population. But by imposing a direct tax, it is never possible to touch or to connect all the sections of the population. For example, here I am interested to tell you one point, that if I consider income tax, then if you look at our country, how many percentage of population pays income tax? Only 1%. Only 1% of the Indian population pay income tax. But if I impose a tax on salt, if I impose a tax on particular food item, then I can touch almost the entire population. And that's why indirect tax has a broad base. It can touch almost the entire population of the country. This is broad meaning of that. It is productive also, especially in a less developed or developing country like India. Government collects huge amount of revenue through indirect tax. In India, direct tax collection is very small. You can easily understand, if 1% of your population is paying income tax, then what the direct tax revenue the government is collecting. But if the government can impose taxes on every food item, on every medicine, on every clothing and etc., then huge amount of tax is collected. Actually, this is done. Actually, this is the practice. In every country, government always earns more income through indirect tax, not through direct tax. Even in nowadays, in developed nations also, government collects more revenue through indirect taxes. And it is convenient to pay also, and it is popular also. Why? Because these type of taxes are paid in smaller amount throughout the year, and it is invisible. Whereas it is quite visible, I can easily see that at the end of the year I am paying this amount of huge amount of tax. But in such cases, since the amount of tax is included in the price, I don't know how much tax I am paying while buying a pen, while buying a copy. How much amount of tax I am paying, I don't know. Very smaller amount. That is why it is convenient to pay, and at the same time it is very popular also among the sailors, because they can collect the revenue easily. They can collect the tax. So that's why indirect tax has got these benefits, these advantages. At the same time, it has certain disadvantages also. The first one is regressive. Indirect tax is regressive in nature. What do you mean by regressive? Now, tax can be of three types: progressive, regressive and proportional. What is progressive tax? Progressive tax implies when your income increases, the rate of tax also increases. That is progressive. And from that definition, my income tax, direct tax, is progressive in nature. It is progressive. But the indirect tax, it is just the opposite, regressive. Why? Because the amount of tax on salt is same whether you are a rich or poor. Rate of tax does not increase. Rate of tax falls with your increase in income. Since the amount of tax is constant on salt, for example, is constant whether you are a rich or a poor. So when your income increases, the rate of tax falls. So that's why it is regressive in nature. Secondly, and why if it is regressive, what does it mean? It leads to inequality in income distribution, because the amount of tax the rich is paying on salt is same the amount of tax poor is paying on salt. So the income of rich actually remains higher than the income of the poor. So that's why it leads to inequality in income distribution. It advocates inequality in income distribution. Second one is ability to pay principle is not followed. Just the example I am giving, that rich can pay higher tax because they have more income. But here it is not followed. The rich is paying the same amount of tax with the poor. So, ability to pay principle, that higher is your ability, higher should be the tax rate. This principle is not followed here. That is the second criticism. The last one is it is inflationary. It is quite common, as I told you in case of sales tax, that when the sales tax is imposed on the seller simply raises the price of the product so that he can collect the tax from the customers. So always you are going to put an indirect tax, you are sure 100% that the price is going to increase. The seller is going to increase the price, and that implies inflation. Inflation implies price rise. So whenever you are imposing any direct tax, inflation is masked. It is inflationary in nature. Prices are going to increase. So these are the disadvantages of indirect tax. And these are the examples: GST, excise duty, customs duty, service tax, entertainment tax. Now, one thing must be very clear, that it is often asked that what is the difference between excise duty and customs duty. See, excise duty is the amount of tax imposed on the goods and services which are produced domestically. I repeat, excise duty is the tax imposed on goods and services which are produced within the country. That is excise duty. What is customs duty? Customs duty is the amount of tax imposed on goods and services which are produced in foreign countries but sold in the domestic country. Whenever you are buying any product from international market, if you enter through airport or port, you have to pay one tariff, one tax, that is customs duty. Customs duty is also known as tariff, import tariff. That is this. Both are on goods and services, but these are the tax on domestically produced goods, and these are the tax on goods and services, goods produced in the foreign market but sold in the domestic market. So these are the examples. You in your exam, these examples comes. Give 2 examples of indirect tax, give 2 examples of direct tax. So please remember this. The last one regarding tax is Indian tax structure. In India, remember, we have a very complicated tax structure. And here in India, there are certain taxes which are imposed by the central government. At the same time, we have also certain taxes which are imposed by the state governments. Some taxes which are imposed by the central government, some taxes are imposed by the state governments. We have to know the names of those taxes. First, the taxes which are imposed by the central government. Those taxes are income tax other than agricultural income. Income tax is imposed by the central government. Customs duty imposed by the central government. One type of GST, CGST, central GST, that is imposed by the central government. So these are the examples which are wealth tax imposed by the central government. So these are the taxes which are imposed by the central government. At the same time, there are also certain taxes which are imposed by the state governments. Which are they? Number 1, agricultural income tax. It is imposed by the state government. Understood? A part of GST, state GST, SGST, that is imposed by the state government. Stamp duty. If you want to do any legal work, you have to pay the stamp duty. That stamp duty is imposed by the state government. Then different types of tolls. At the toll plaza, you have to pay the tolls, state governments. Motor vehicles tax. Motor vehicles tax. All those taxes are imposed by the state governments. So there are certain taxes which are imposed by central government, income tax and other things, wealth tax, and there I have told you CGST, customs duty, excise duty, all these are taxes which are imposed by the central government, and there are certain taxes which are imposed by the state governments. Okay. So this is the whole discussion regarding your tax. Here the benefits, disadvantages and advantages, disadvantages comes. Here also comes, examples also come. Okay. Today up to this, next day I will complete the whole thing. Thank you.